This show is presented by Baker Sports.
On today's show, we'll look at the highlights from Baker Sports Media Day, sponsored by Baker Sports. We'll sit down with the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, Dr. Richard Snyder. Our athlete of the week is Taryn Hagan from Atlantic Coast High School. We'll also check in with interviews from UNF cheers coach Nathan Palmer and members of his team. We'll sit down with Fleming Island volleyball team player JJ Ramirez. And lastly, we'll look at the legacy of football and track star Curtis Gray. We'll be right back. It's time for ITG Next. I'm Haley Urach. We'd like to take this time to thank our sponsors, the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute and Baker Sports. Everyone here at ITG Next is definitely #Duval till we die. And in honor of the upcoming football season, we're going to be going over our top 5 moments in Jaguar history. In 2014, the Jacksonville Jaguars were down 3-21 against the New York Giants. But right after halftime, big things changed, coming in at number 5. After being down in the first half, the Jaguars showed their true potential during the second half of the game and proved to everyone that they should not give up on them just yet. The 30-yard pass from rookie quarterback Blake Bortles to rookie wide receiver Marquez Lee was just one of the many highlights. The Jags quickly caught up to the Giants and won with only 48 seconds left in the game when kicker Josh Scobie put them ahead. Coming in at number 4 is from the Jaguars' very first season in 1995 when they brought their first win at home. In 1995, right after their very first win against the Houston Oilers, they were ready to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers back home in Duval. Our home team won 20-16 after getting an impressive 14-0 lead. Each NFL team definitely has a year or even multiple years of totally being on fire. For the Jaguars, that was in 1999, coming in at number 3. One of the greatest Jaguars seasons happened to be at the beginning of their history in 1999. During this season, their record was 14-2 and led them to be at the number 1 seed in the entire NFL. 10 of those games were won by 10 points or more, making it a legendary season in Jaguar history. There are few NFL players that have made the 10,000-yard mark. Coming in at number 2 is our very own Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor made it past the 10,000-yard milestone during a 2007 game against the Tennessee Titans. He needed only 13 yards to reach the goal and ended up getting 15 yards when he ran right through Titans safety, Chris Hope. When he made it past the mark, everyone was cheering, even Titans fans. Most of the time, Hail Mary passes aren't successful, but when they are, the crowd goes wild. Coming in at number 1 is David Garrard's Hail Mary pass. During the Jags' 2010 game against the Houston Texans, they were tied at 24 points each. David Garrard decided to make one final attempt to get the Jags a win. He threw a Hail Mary 50 yards downfield that went right to a Texans player. However, when all hope was gone, the ball bounced right into the arms of Jags wide receiver Mike Thomas, who then ran for a touchdown, getting the Jags a memorable win. Our photo of the week is of Simone Biles, the first woman to land a triple-double in competition on the floor. Our video of the week is highlights from the return of ESPN's The Ocho Network. The Ocho was originally a made-up network from the movie Dodgeball, highlighting strange sports, but for the past 3 years, it has been a special on ESPN. Now we're going to be looking at the highlights from Baker Media Day, sponsored by Baker Sports.
Welcome to this edition of Baker Sports Media Day. I'm your host, Nathan Dean from ITG Next. Alongside me is the new head coach for the Bowles School, formerly from Ponte Vedra, Coach Matt Tomlin. How's it going?
Pleasure to meet you.
So what are you looking forward to in 2019 was your first year with Bowles?
I mean, I think that, every year a football coach will say is like, look, we want to find out how good we can be. Can we find ways to get better every single week? Can we find ways to handle adversity? What kind of senior leaders do we have? And so regardless of where you are, I mean, as you enter in a season, like, look, that's what you want. Teams where you're super talented, obviously, you're looking say, hey, look, we've got to hit the top range of where we can be. And as a coach, every year, that's our goal.
And what's something that you kind of preach to the guys as you just started with bowls, but what's some of the guys that you what are you preaching to the guys to get ready for the season?
I mean, right now with our team, we're talking energy, effort, and attention to detail. And that regardless of what you do offensively, defensively, regardless of whether it's academics, whatever sport it is, I mean, if you can show up every single day with great energy, give great effort, and have attention to detail, you got a chance to be successful.
And what are some of the players that we can look out for?
And so, I mean, I think that, obviously as a new guy coming in, we'll kind of figure that as we go, but we do feel really good about a lot of our offensive weapons. Quarterback competition going on, but Ben Netting is a returning starter. Kenny Samuel's a running back. Simon Brackett, a Princeton commit at tight end. And then at receiver, there's a lot of basketball guys and baseball guys we got to come out, and so we're super excited to see how that position kind of develops.
And looking at your schedule, is there a particular game you guys circle, or you focus one game at a time?
No, we are, and it's always just the next game. Because the idea as a football coach, and anyone will tell you, like, look, and especially at bowls, look, we're not in this for week one. Like, I mean, obviously week one's awesome and we're excited about it, but like, we've got bigger goals and bigger things we're looking forward to, and so. Our goal is going to be each week finding ways to get better and better and better and better, so we're peaking in November when we come playoff time.
What's your favorite thing about being a football coach?
I mean, I think that it's an awesome responsibility to influence young people, and that there was a study done that I took all the time about. They say that if they give a list of menial tasks, boring menial tasks, and they say, like, look, if this person asked you to do it, would you do it? It's your parent, your friend, member of your church, your coach. And the highest response of I would do it for my whatever was coach. And that as a coach, we feel that responsibility to help develop young people is probably the best gift we have as a football coach.
And how does the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute help you guys? I mean, they help you a lot with the medical staff, but how have they helped you guys prepare for the season as well?
And so whether it's talking to our players about hydration and nutrition, our trainer, Thomas, is part of the JOI, and just that constant development of making sure we're keeping players safe and developing them off the field.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Coach. Appreciate it. This has been another edition of Bigger Sports Media Day.
This show is presented by Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is home to many amazing doctors here on the East Coast. The ITG Next team was able to sit down with Dr. Richard Snyder and learn more about his career and how sports led him to be an orthopedic surgeon.
Joining me today is Dr. Lance Snyder, orthopedic surgeon at the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Always enjoy talking to the surgeons here at JOI. I mean, it seems like, all you guys have unique stories and got some sports in your background. You're no different. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you to become an orthopedic surgeon.
Well, my dad was a surgeon, and I used to watch him and the profound effect he made on people's lives. So I used to go to the hospital with him when I was little. And
so how young?
I was 10, 11. Wow. I remember going to the hospital with him, and I just saw that he really, really helped people, and I knew right away I wanted to do that. And then played ball and had some injuries, and the orthopedic surgeons always seemed to help me and always seemed to look out for my best interest. And then I went through medical school, and I just gravitated towards orthopedics.
So I know that you wrote a couple of articles talking about elbow issues and shoulder issues with youth athletes. There's a big, you hear two sides of the story. Should athletes specialize in a sport? You hear about it a lot in baseball, especially travel ball, or these kids being overworked. Just talk about, from your perspective, what you see or what you see at your practice, about, do you feel that kids are being managed as well as they should, and what they could do to, to minimize their being susceptible to injury?
Yeah, I really don't. I don't think we're doing a great job as physicians in getting the word out. A A lot of the literature is coming out with it. You shouldn't specialize. If you look at college pitchers or professional pitchers, if they specialized before sophomore year of high school, they had an increased amount of shoulder or elbow surgery. And the facts are that if you train your body all the way around, not just in one specific sport, then you're going to be better equipped to handle that sport, and so you'll have less injuries. And we're really starting to elucidate that with all the research, and it's really bearing that out. I really don't recommend specializing at all until you get later on in your career. And if you're good enough, they'll tell you. But I think the fact that I wrestled and I played tennis and I did all these different things, that really helped me with football. And it just makes sense. I mean, you want your baseball pitcher, your catcher to be a great athlete. You don't just want them to have a great arm.
Well, I know you hear, I know, we do a lot of work with youth and high school athletics, and I talked to some of the travel ball coaches, and hey, look, every kid we have pitches, we limit. I mean, if you're doing that, is it okay if you can really control it to specialize, or do you find that, as people get caught up in the heat of the moment and they're at some small tournament somewhere and they just,
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some great organizations. There's some great youth organizations. 5 Stars, one of them. There's some great youth organizations out there. But at the same time, coaches are human. They want to win, and I've seen more than one coach throw a kid out there in multiple days or with 1 day of rest, and they'll say, well, we're watching the pitch count. Well, they didn't watch the warm-up. And I think there's, the pitch count is a good idea. I don't have a problem with the pitch count, but it's also how a pitcher is struggling or not struggling, how they're pitching. Are they easy outs? Are they working the corners and the opposing team striking out quite easily, and that kid's not laboring at all, versus a kid that's given maximum effort. They're struggling through every inning. That's a different deal. And so I think coaches and doctors need to be aware of this. They need to facilitate the communication with the athlete, and I think that the coach needs to be aware of what different athletes can handle. And so the pitch count's an okay idea, and I understand why they do it, because it's really one of the only ways we have to monitor this. But I think you have to know your player and know their physical limitations.
That's awesome. Well, Dr. Snyder, I appreciate you being here today. If you're watching this and you need your elbow taken care of, or shoulder, make sure to get out to see Dr. Snyder, and I look forward to talking with you again soon.
Yeah, thanks. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
My name is Taryn Hagans. I go to Atlantic Coast High School, and I'm a cheerleader. My most memorable moment of being a cheerleader in high school is definitely the homecoming football games and being able to get the crowd involved and just getting excited for football or basketball and just making lifelong friendships. I started cheer when I was around 6 years old, so I've been doing competitive cheer for 11 years, but this is my 4th year doing high school cheer. After my sports career is over, I definitely plan on attending Florida State and hopefully continuing being on the cheerleading team there and then becoming a pediatrician in the future.
What's helped you the most in your sports career, and how have they helped you?
Definitely my mom, by encouraging me and pushing me to be the best that I can. She always just motivates me, and like if I'm having a bad day or like a rough practice, she's always like, there's always tomorrow, just keep pushing yourself, you got this. My mom definitely always tells me to never give up, and that's kind of what I have in the back of my head if I'm having a rough day or just needing a little more confidence in something. My biggest sports inspiration is Andrew Rice. She's a power tumbler and she's also an all-star cheerleader. She's been through many hardships, but she's started many foundations and many programs for traveling to gyms and helping tumblers in need and helping gyms that need help, so definitely want to be like her when I get older. I live in the game by never giving up and always keeping a positive attitude whenever we have rough practices, or if people just need help on the field or at practices, I'm always there to support them and give them extra help. My name is Taryn and I'm living in the game.
The University of North Florida is one of the colleges here on the First Coast. The ITG Next team was able to sit down with UNF's cheer coach, Nathan Palmer, and a few members from his team right before they went off to NCAA camp. Let's check out those interviews now.
I decided to become a cheer coach because I have so much passion for the sport and love for the sport. I did it until I was 18 years old, where I fully maxed out of competing at the all-star level. I went to community college and I needed a job, and I love cheerleading. So it's a passion of mine. I love it. Yeah.
The thing I love most about cheerleading is the bonds that I've created throughout my 14 years of doing it. Like, I have friendships that I know are going to last me a lifetime. I have people that I know I'm going to have in my life and that are going to be in my wedding someday. So I think that's the main thing that I think cheerleading is my favorite part about cheerleading.
The thing that I love the most about cheerleading is that it's always changing. It's always growing, and skills are getting harder and harder, and athletes are becoming more and more advanced. And so I think that's really cool that it's something that you can never stop learning new skills.
What do I love most about cheer? I would have to say probably just the positive environment that the whole cheerleading community has. And then of course, personally me being on the team, meeting all my family, my second family. So I would say I've grown my best relationships that I know will be lifelong friendships from cheer. So.
Some misconceptions would have to be a lot of the stereotypes, just like the rah-rah stuff, like the pom-poms on the sidelines, what they see. It's all about the hair, the glitz and glam, but they don't see all the work we really put in, the sweat and the tears and the blood. So I think that puts a big impact on that.
Some misconceptions about cheerleading is that we're not athletes and that it's not a sport. And so that's definitely something that we try to, kind of break the barrier of. Yes, we cheer on the sideline, but that's not necessarily our main goal and our main part of our sport. We like to compete, and we're tumbling and running these 2-minute and 45-second routines, and there's so much more to the sport than people really realize.
So being a male cheerleader is definitely sometimes a struggle. We've kind of been viewed as I guess, we always have this stereotype that we're feminine or, things like that. What we do isn't really athletic, it takes athleticism. So it's definitely tough at times, but overall I think times are changing. So I think it's getting easier with time as more co-ed teams are arising. So it's definitely becoming more acceptable, I feel like, in society. So.
My hopes for my team this season is success on the competition floor. We've been preparing all summer long, and we're going to go into volleyball and basketball season with prepping for national season on the back end. So I want them to really shine when it matters.
My name is Jangelis Ramirez Menendez. I play for Fleming Island High School. I'm in 11th grade, going now junior, and I play volleyball and I'm a libero. My most memorable moment so far would be when I made HP, and it was hard competition there. It was hard to make. It's all Florida girls from all over the place, and me making it was just such a big accomplishment. And when I made it last year, I won my first national championships, and I got all-star, which I would say all my hard work paid off, and I made it again this year, so I'm super excited to play again. I started when I was maybe 8, and I went to school in Puerto Rico, and volleyball is the sport you most play there. And I started playing when it was I think PE. It was PE, and I saw the girls playing, so I was like, oh, this seems fun, let me just play it. And when I played, girls made fun of me for it, and I kind of got bullied. So I just started going, and I was like, you know what, I want to be good. So I made my mom take me to practices and go to club and stuff. And 2 years went by, I switched schools, and that school gave me a scholarship for playing volleyball because I got so much better. And then those girls that made fun of me, now they reach out to me to be my friends and everything. So I would say it's because I got kind of made fun of, and I wanted to prove them wrong. And that's when the love just came in. I would say the most difficult thing about us moving here would be the culture, because it's so much different. Over there, we're more rude, I would say. We're straightforward. in here it's all sweet, and like we kind of got like, it was kind of hard getting used to that. But I would say like me having friends because of volleyball, because I just came here and did a tryout at the school I was going to play, and I just played there. And when I came in school, I kind of knew some people, but it was pretty hard at first because it was just like really different. My mom and coaches, like, they've never let me like give up on myself. Me as a volleyball player, like, I'm short, so I kind of struggle a lot making teams and stuff. So I gotta be better at my skills because I don't have the height. And I would say they always encourage me to keep going, don't give up, it'll get easier. They push me out of my comfort zone, which is great. They taught me discipline, which is like the best thing you could have in sport. And they taught me like the love of sport. I would say what makes me different from every other athlete would be how competitive I am. Everything I do, I take it as a threat. Like, I just do it. Like, I just have to do it right. And I won't stop till I get it right if I can't do it. I'm very competitive. I'm very responsible. And I just like live in the game. Like, that's what I do. I would say I live in the game because my characteristics, being responsible, being humble, being competitive, I would say that helped me playing in there. Like, in the court, that's all I am. I'm responsible, competitive. I'm very vocal, funny, nice. Like, you gotta know how to play with it. Like, you can't be too mean with it either. Like, you gotta know how to be a team player. So all those characteristics like help me play and live in the sport. My name is JJ Ramirez and I'm living in the game.
On Saturday, April 13th of this year, track and football star Curtis Gray was shot and killed in Palm Coast, Florida. We were able to sit down with his friends and family, learn more about his sports career, his personal attributes, and his legacy. In honor of his life, we're going to be sharing a story each week here on the show. Let's check out part 4 now.
The one thing I remember about him, like, there's that grin. While he's running, he's grinning. Especially when he finished, he'd have this big old grin on his face. If he did something outstanding and playing football, he grinned. I'm like, that's that grin on his face. I would watch the film that my husband would take online, and Curtis is sitting there grinning. He'd be on the sideline talking to somebody, skinning and grinning with his teammates. And he was always dancing on the sideline too. That's what I do remember. He was dancing and laughing and patting people on the back.
There's not a day that I go by that I don't think about him. Like, every day, like, I always think about it. I made a song about him because like, a lot of people don't know that he was trying to start making music.
I feel like his love for music, like, that's really what's gonna stick with me. Like, I hear songs all the time now, and I just think of him because he had such an old soul, and him and music just related completely differently. Like, he felt it.
We had a song, it was the same, we both had a song to the same beat. So it's just like, when it's time, we're gonna put it together. And he sent me like the verse on like Snapchat, but I couldn't save it, so he sent it to me, and I was like, whoa, that was actually good, because like, I didn't expect it to be good. I was like, wow, that's actually good. His vibe, the energy he gave off, it was unique.
I kept trying to get him to sing different songs. He kept trying to play like he did not sing. I see all these videos of him doing all the singing.
He was passionate about a lot of things. He was passionate about women. He loved women. I ain't gonna lie about that. Kurt loved girls. He was definitely passionate about sports though. He loved sports, any sport. Football, basketball, track, like everything. He was passionate about sports. He always tried to do good in whatever sport he played.
Time we were driving like really late at night, just screaming the words to "Can You Stand the Rain" or any type of old music, because that was just us. We would just listen to old throwbacks and scream on top of our lungs.
He had a lot of stuff that he was passionate about. So like, really, he was passionate about life, really.
Because any negative things that was going on, he would not care. Like, that has nothing to do with anything that he's trying to push. He's trying to promote positivity.
I kept going because of him. So, like, he just told me just keep pushing because I know he's with me.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. A special thank you to our sponsors, the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute and Baker Sports. And be sure to check out our What's Next segment, which is on our YouTube channel, all about Baker Sports Media Day. And make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms. You can find us at ITG Next. And for all of our Florida viewers, we have a special Instagram just for you. You can find us at itgnext.florida. And if you have an inspiring story you would love to share with us, you can DM us on any of our social media platforms, or you can visit us at itgnext.com and share your story there. And while you're on our website, you can also shop our most recent apparel collection, which is the Jacksonville collection. Thank you so much for watching.